Hey y'all, welcome to Journey with Jim. You're at the gym with Jim. And really what brought me here was thinking about all the different cellular changes that occur when you're working out, and how you use energy differently, and what you want to have happen to your cells when you're working out. So I'd first like to start talking about some of the different cellular changes like atrophy and hypertrophy. The hope is that some of my cells will atrophy, that they'll shrink, they'll go away, namely the fat cells. And then my hope is that I'll have some hypertrophy as well with my muscles. I want to grow my muscles, I want to lean them up and be healthier. There's other cellular changes, hyperplasia, metaplasia. But as you progress into some of those changes, you get closer and closer to dysplasia, which is essentially cancer. Some of the other changes that occur is obviously as I'm working out and exercising, I'm hoping to live longer, to keep frailty away longer that occurs with old age. But as you exercise more throughout life, you can limit the development of frailty. The other thing is I'm hoping to keep somatic death at bay, at least from pathological changes, and that is essentially, no more respirators, no more circulation of the blood. And when your cells die, when your body dies, you go through a couple different processes. Algor mortis is decreasing of your body temperature. Livor mortis is decrease in color, and rigor mortis is stiffening. And they all have to do with the fact that cells are no longer functioning because the energy stores are no longer being utilized through like glycolysis or citric acid cycle, and no more ATPs being made, and the cells die. So yeah, like ATP, I mean, when I think about that, I think about how it's being made. Is it utilizing oxygen or not utilizing oxygen? As in aerobic or anaerobic exercise. So like right now I'm on a treadmill and I'm doing some aerobic exercise. Low impact, low intensity, not too low. But my hope is that my oxygen that I'm taking in is going to be able to keep up with the demand of my body, so that I can keep walking, keep running, essentially indefinitely. Now I have to put a time limit on it because I have other things I have to do today, but my hope is that you get that heart rate up, but not so high that you can't sustain that activity. And that's aerobic exercise versus anaerobic, such as weightlifting or sprinting. So I could be essentially doing a very similar activity, walking, running, sprinting. But sprinting is when you grab energy from the glucose stores for these short bursts of activity, weightlifting, sprinting, things like that. Because the oxygen demands can't keep up with the energy needs, your body starts utilizing all these glucose stores, which is where you get all that burn from, because it creates a lot of waste products that the body can't get rid of quick enough. And so when you're doing these higher intensity activities, you end up having other side effects of it as well, and you can't maintain that activity indefinitely. You can train yourself to go longer in running. You have marathon runners that nobody. How many people can keep up with those marathon sprinters? They're running 26 miles in 2 hours. That's crazy. So they've trained themselves to have their intensity level maintained and able to keep up with their oxygen demands and their glucose demands and all that kind of stuff. So essentially, we talked about cells and the different kinds of changes with cells. We talked about energy storage, different types of activities, aerobic, anaerobic, and even what happens with the lack of activity, such as the ultimate end of somatic death, and what occurs at that process as well. So I hope this has been beneficial for you, and I'll catch you again on Journey with Jim. See ya.